Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday, or whenever you're watching this. Hopefully you're having a great day. Today's story time, man. This one is this has been one I've been waiting to tell for a while. I've been holding on to this one for a good minute. I've been waiting to tell it because it's one of those ones that's just so incredibly awkward and so incredibly just insane for a lot of reasons. And yeah, I've been holding on to it just because of that. Definitely a funny one, definitely a different change of pace compared to the one I told yesterday. So I hope you all enjoy this one. Leave a like on the video if you do. And yeah, man, let's just jump into it. So I'm sure all of you know, but as you go through high school or middle school or whatever school you're in, you'll meet people, a lot of people, that you'll become very close with, very cool with, and are really, really cool, right? Well, sometimes you meet these people, you become close with them, and the more and more you learn about them, the more and more you realize, oh, they're not who I thought they were. And that can be a good thing or a bad thing. You know, sometimes, you misjudge somebody and then you get to know them and you're like, oh, this guy's really cool. Other times you think someone's really cool and then 6 months down the line, they're not really cool. And you're like, damn, I thought I knew that person. Sometimes people have weird interests that you did not know they had that come out, after you get to know them. Can be good weird, can be bad weird. Today's story time is about a friend of mine that was keeping a secret I didn't know he was keeping. So, yeah. So this story time all starts off back when I was 18 years old. This was actually 2 months after I turned 18. This was pretty much like right before I moved to LA. And at this time, I was still living at home with my mom. Just, like I said, about to move to LA. So I was just chilling there for the time being. And around this time, I had a pretty good, tight friend group, good friends of mine. And there was this one friend in specific. We'll call this friend Aiden, okay? Aiden, I met in 8th grade. So the end of middle school. And we were very good friends into high school and throughout high school and after high school. So one day, I'm chilling in my room, just doing nothing, listening to some music. I just woke up. It was very late in the day. I had a fucked up sleep schedule. Who would have thought? And I get this text message from Aiden. And he's like, yo, man, you want to come sleep over tonight? Now, I've talked about it before, but I don't really like sleeping at other people's houses. I can do it. It's not like I can't do it. I did it probably hundreds of times throughout my childhood. It's not like I can't. It's just I prefer to host people at my house. My mom was always really, really cool about me having people over, and she was always a really, really good host. And I don't know, whenever I went to someone else's house, I would always get unlucky, and like they'd fall asleep first, and I wouldn't have a blanket, and I'd be like covering up with paper towels and shit. It was just not a good time most of the time. So yeah, I'd prefer to have people at my house. So I texted him back, and I was like, yo, why don't you come here? And he was like, nah, man, I got this new thing I want to show you. That's exactly what he said. I got this new thing I want to show you. And I was like, what is it? He goes, I don't want to tell you. Just wait. I'm like, all right, man. So I said, fuck it. I went in the other room. I told my mom, I was like, hey, mom, I'm going to go sleep over at Aiden's tonight. Is that cool? She was like, yeah, for sure. And I was 18 at this point. I didn't have to like really ask for permission, but I still wanted to let my mom know where I was going. So after this, I packed a bag and I went over to Aiden's house. Now, upon arriving there, I walked in. I said hi to his parents. His parents were really, really cool. His mom was like this really, really like just like small, like quiet, very polite woman. And then his dad was like this super like kind of like macho man dude, like former military, super ripped, like man type shit. Very, very cool parents, right? Like I loved his parents. They were some of my favorite parents out of all my friends. So after I said hello to them, I went into the living room where Aiden was, and he had this thing he wanted to show me, right? He had it in a box. It was literally a cardboard box with no label on it. It looked like it was an Amazon box or some shit. And I was like, what is that? He goes, take a peek inside. And I was like, okay. So I go to open it. And I'm expecting like, I don't know, a PlayStation or an Xbox or like a fucking new game or something or some piece of technology, right? Like something technology based, because me and Aiden both were nerds. And I open up this box and I shit you not, I see a bunch of dirt, like soil. I was like, what the fuck? And then in the corner, I see a ginormous tarantula. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And I like jump backwards. I'm like, hell no. And he's like, dude, isn't it sick? I got it today. And I was like, bro, why is it in a box? He's like, cuz I wanted to scare you with it. I know you don't like spiders. And I was like, thanks, Aiden. Appreciate it, man. Now after this, he went over to like this glass container thing in the living room, this like habitat he bought for it. And he like put it back in there. And this thing was creepy, man. I don't like big spiders. They just scare me. I don't know why. It's something about their appearance. I'm sure a lot of you can probably relate. I will say I don't hate them nowadays. Now that I'm older and I'm a little bit more grown, if a friend of mine has a spider like, as a pet, it's not going to ruin my entire day and freak me out. And if I see one in my house, I'm not going to like freak out. Well, actually, if there's a tarantula, I might freak out a little bit. But, if I see a big spider in my house, I don't freak out that much nowadays. I still don't want one to like crawl on me when I'm sleeping. That's not fun. But yeah, I'm a little bit more grown now. Anyway, he puts the spider back in his little habitat thing. And after this, me and Aiden just go to like doing what we would normally do, which is chilling in his basement, listening to music, hanging out down there, just watching videos on YouTube, just chilling, right? Now it gets a whole lot more interesting. I know a lot of you probably read the title and probably like, bro, where's this going? Oh, don't worry. It's not even close to over. So we sit down in his basement, right? And we're watching YouTube, doing our thing. And his mom comes downstairs, probably about 10 minutes into us hanging out down there. And she goes, Aiden, I'm doing laundry. Do you want me to get anything out of your room? And he's like, sure. That's all he said. He just said, sure. He didn't give her any directions, anything specific. She just, thought he meant go up there and grab the clothes out of his room that were dirty off the floor and throw them in the laundry, right? So she goes upstairs and we don't hear anything from her for about 2 hours, right? And about 2 hours later, she comes back down the stairs and she goes, Aiden, can I talk to you? And he's like, what? What's up? And she goes, in private, please. And this is really where Aiden kind of fucked himself over. He goes, what is so important, Mom, that you have to tell me it in private? Why can't you just say it in front of Austin? And she goes, Aiden, honey, I don't think you want me to say this in front of your friend. And he's like, what? Are you messing with me? Like, what? Just say it. And she goes, Aiden, come with me. And he gets up and he starts walking away. And he does like the come here motion to me to like go with him and his mom. And I was like, okay. So I get up and I start following them. And I could see the look on Aiden's mom's face. Like, she did not want me to see or hear about whatever they were going to talk about. But Aiden was so insisting on, like, me going and being there for it. Like, he had nothing to hide. So I was like, okay, sure. And I'm not going to lie, bro. I was loving it. I thought this shit was kind of hilarious deep down. Because it was like, yo, I'm either about to find out, like, an amazing, hilarious secret about Aiden, or I'm just going to, hear an argument and, get some drama out of it. Listen to some drama, some tea, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I follow them upstairs, and Aiden's mom leads me and Aiden upstairs to Aiden's room, and she goes, now before I say what I'm going to say, this is your last chance, Aiden. Do you want Austin to leave? And he goes, bro, it's fine. She goes, okay, what's this? And she swings open his closet door, moves some clothes around, and behind the clothes on the rack, she reveals this thing in the back of Aiden's closet. And I couldn't really see it that well at first, and then she had to move some more clothes off it. And then I saw what it was, and I was like, oh, now I know why she didn't want me to see that. I don't know how to, like, say this without getting, like, my video demonetized or whatever the fuck, but there was a giant, like, probably 60-pound doll in Aiden's closet that was modeled after a woman, very realistically, if you're catching my drift. Sometimes you see him in movies and TV shows. It rhymes with Hex doll. And this one in specific was like really realistic looking and modeled after a famous adult film star that I think everyone would know the name of, but I'm not saying it because like I said, I'm not trying to get demonetized. But he had this super realistic doll that was modeled after an adult film star, and it was clearly used for some not so good things. And I was like, bro, what the fuck is that? And she goes, I told you didn't want to see that. And Aiden looks at me and he's like, bro, it's not what you think. And I was like, Aiden, what the fuck is that? Now, guys, I've seen these things before on the internet. They're expensive as shit. Like, I've seen them. They're worth like thousands sometimes. Don't ask how I know that, okay? I was not shopping for one, all right? I saw one on Twitter, all right? So don't fucking come at me in the comments. But yeah, like, I've seen them before and they're worth a lot of money. So my next question to Aiden was, bro, did you spend like thousands of dollars on that thing? He goes, it was $800. I'm like, bro, $800? And his mom, when she heard that, goes like full crash out. She was like, you're spending $800 fucking dollars on this disgusting thing in your closet? What do you do with it? Are you fucking like humping it or something? Like, what's wrong with you? And she's just shaming him. And honestly, I kind of felt bad for the dude for a second. But at the same time, it's like, bro, if you live with your mom and your family, why are you buying things like that are that big and take up that much space in your closet that you can so easily get caught for? I'm not trying to shame the dude, okay? Like, things like that exist in that world, and I'm not shaming people that, have those, whatever. If you're a dude and you're trying to get some frustration out, I get it, okay? But if you live with your family still, might be a good idea to not own one of those. And guys, like, I don't think you understand. I have to like really harp on this. This thing was life-sized, okay? Like I said, it was modeled after an adult film star. It was like a direct clone of this like adult film actress. So it was like a life-sized, silicone doll thing. And it was huge, full woman-sized, and it didn't weigh like 5 pounds. This thing was human-sized. So yeah, it was, pretty crazy looking in that closet. I can't believe he even got it up there without getting caught. Anyway, after his mom crashed out on him for a good like 10 minutes about, I can't believe you spent this much money on this thing and why is this in my house and get this out of here and all this stuff, right? He keeps saying, it's not what you think, it's not what you think. So finally I was like, Aiden, what is it then? If it's not what we think, what is that? What is it? And he tries to lie, and he's like, I bought it to do a skit on YouTube. And I was like, Aiden, I do YouTube for a living. You can't post that on YouTube, bro. That thing is going to get you deleted off YouTube. And what skit are you trying to do with that thing? Like, come on, bro. There's no skit you're doing. You don't even have a channel. Don't lie to me, bro. That's the worst lie you could have made up. I'm a YouTuber. And he starts laughing. He's like, whatever, man. Fuck y'all. Now, it gets worse. So his dad ended up hearing the commotion upstairs, and then he came up, and his reaction was not good. Honestly, it was one of the most funny things I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. He walked in the room, he's like, what's going on in here? And then he saw it in the closet, and he's like, what the fuck is that? And Aiden's like, shit. Hey, Dad. And he's like, Aiden, what is that? What is that thing in the closet? And Aiden's like, it's like a, adult toy for men. And the dad goes, no, that's not a toy. I've seen toys, okay? That is a full-sized woman replica, and it's scaring me. It looks scary. The eyes are looking at me. And I couldn't even hold it in, bro. I started fucking dying laughing. I start laughing so hard. And Aiden's mom's like, Austin, this isn't funny. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, it is kind of funny. Dude, even she had a smile on her face when I started laughing. She wanted to laugh. She did. So after Aiden's dad walked in, they kind of went through the same conversation that Aiden and his mom just had. His dad just started asking a bunch of questions, and then he found out he spent $800 on it, and his dad was like, what the fuck? Like, that was money you could have used for, like, rent at an apartment or something. And that led his dad to saying, like, if you want to own shit like this, get your own place. That is so creepy looking. And it was just really funny. I can't lie. And it's not even like his parents were like mainly like angry with him. It was more just like, dude, if you're gonna do that, get something else. That thing is huge. That was kind of like what they were saying. Like, they didn't want to be aware of it. And side note, real quick, if I was Aiden in that situation, why would you let your mom do your laundry? Clearly, she's going to have to go in your closet to put it away. She was bound to see the thing. It's ginormous. Why would you let her do your laundry? I don't understand that to this day. And then the full, like, ignorant confidence he had when his mom came downstairs to be like, what, Mom? Like, you could say it in front of Austin. And then, like, he brought me upstairs with him. Like, he had nothing to hide, only to find out he had one of the biggest things ever to hide. Anyway, his parents and him end up arguing back and forth for a good, 20 minutes up there, and I'm just staring at this thing in his closet, being like, yo, what is happening right now? And finally, his dad just gets sick of arguing, and he walks over to Aiden's closet, he grabs it, opens the window, and then throws it out the window to the front where the garbage cans are. And the whole time, Aiden's like, Dad, what are you doing? Dad, stop. And I see this thing fall from the second-story window to the driveway next to all the garbage cans. And I look to the left out the window, and I see a neighbor outside, throwing his trash away. And all I could think about was how funny that must have looked from his perspective. Could you imagine going outside to take your garbage out, and you see your neighbor's window open, and a ginormous life-size sex toy falls out the window and splats on the driveway? I think I genuinely would think I'm living in a simulation at that point. I think I would actually be like, oh, I'm on a TV show. This is the Truman Show. Where's the fucking camera at? And the funniest part is the neighbor looked over after the thing fell on the ground, and Aiden's dad waved to him out the window. I was like, hey, Jim. I was like, dude, no fucking way this is happening right now. And the guy was like, hey, I'm not even going to ask. And he just went back in his house. This shit was so funny, bro. So after this, Aiden's parents ended up leaving the room and told him to, go throw that thing in the garbage. And he had to go downstairs and put it in the trash, which was probably pretty embarrassing for him. And I was talking to him while he was doing it. And I was like, yo, so where'd you buy this at? And he's like, why do you want to know? And I was like, I'm just so curious as to how you acquired this thing, man. What the fuck? He's like, bro, fuck off. I'm embarrassed enough. I was like, hey, man, I'm not shaming you, okay? Whatever you do in your free time when it comes to, that kind of stuff, I don't judge, all right? As long as it's not illegal, I don't mind what you do. I just think owning, a life-sized, that isn't the best idea when you have your parents at home still. He's like, yeah, man, I know. And I was like, bro, next time, come up with a better lie. What the fuck was that? And we both just started laughing about it. And yeah, man, he threw it away, and that thing was no longer there. Yeah, they threw it away. It was gone. And I'm happy to say that I'm still friends with Aiden to this day. And he openly cooks himself about this story all the time. He's actually had a girlfriend for the last 4 or 5 years. And every time I hang out with him and she's there, she'll bring this shit up. And it's so funny. She finds it hilarious. She herself has actually asked me to make this story time video 4 different times. So I'm sure she's watching this right now and laughing her ass off. So hello. But yeah, she thinks it's hilarious, and so does he. He memes it all the time. He cracks jokes about it all the time, and I'm glad he's a good sport about it. You kind of have to be in that situation. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story time. Definitely a wild, just insane, kind of funny moment in life, and I want to talk about it today. I bet that neighbor still thinks about that to this day. But yeah, guys, that's the story time. I hope you all enjoyed it. Moral of the story is, you know, if you're going to own things like that and be, you know, a little freaky, you should really have your own place or, you know, personal space where people won't find that stuff just sitting out in the open, you know? But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story time. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it funny. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I'll see y'all later. Peace.